Hi, I'm Cass, and about a year ago I was sick and tired of how messy and incoherent my Instagram bullet journal account was looking. I kept changing my editing style and my photo taking methods in hopes that something would eventually click and I would magically be happy with what it looked like. However, that never happened until July of 2021, which was only a few months ago. And so in today's video, I'll be giving you some advice and sharing my method of how I take and edit my bullet journal Instagram photos. But keep in mind, this isn't just for bullet journal accounts. This can be used for any form of art Instagram account. So first things first, I knew I needed to gather inspiration. What I was doing was not working, and so I went and looked at other artists. And what better place to look than Instagram itself, where all these super talented bullet journal artists were located. For flat lays, I looked to Plinst and Dernal Lawrence. Both of them are super amazing artists who go over the top with their flat lays. And as you can see here, they have markers and washi tape galore. As inspired as I was by their incredible flat lays, I had to remind myself that I am lazy as fuck. And the thought of meticulously placing markers was very unappealing, to say the least. For a short while, I took inspiration from pages by Amy, who posted dividers in between each month. I myself was worried that people wouldn't be able to differentiate each month, and so I would create dividers that have since been deleted off my Instagram because once again, I am lazy and I wanted a simple method I could stick to, and creating dividers every month just was not cutting it. Stationery Nat was another account that I gathered inspiration from. I really liked her usage of scrapbook paper and pens in her flat lays, and she also uses washi tape and ribbon, but it's much more simple and something that I could manage. Also, there was a distinct difference between each month because how vastly different her flat lays would change. Now I want to show you what my feed looks like currently and how you can see very clear divides between each month, as well as my style of editing being very desaturated. Again, this is just my preferred style. I do love other artists that do the high contrast pictures. However, I just found editing them was so unpleasant and they just never looked good when I did them, as you can see from my old feed. And so I wanted to go with a less contrast heavy editing style. For the actual taking of the Instagram photos, I step into my studio. And by studio, I mean this desk in the corner of my room. I have my background, which is literally just a poster board from Michaels, and then I just keep everything set up with my little ring light here, and I keep some of my props and such already on my desk. I know many people use natural sunlight, however, I wanted actual consistent light, and sunlight is super unpredictable, and especially since winter is approaching, cloudy days are all that's on the forecast lately. First, I close my blinds and also close my blackout curtains before shutting off my ceiling light. And then lastly, I click on my ring light in the bright white setting. Then it's arranging your flat lay in a style that you like. My dog just crawled into the room next to me here. This process is a lot of trial and error, and it's figuring out a style that you like. For me, I use a couple pieces of scrapbook paper and some markers, as well as just a few props. And I'll reference previous flat lays and replicate those if I like it. And by previous flat lays, I mean flat lays I created. Then once I have something I like, I go ahead and take the actual pictures. I take pictures from multiple angles just because I never know what's gonna look the best. Then once I have something I like, I go ahead and pop that SD card right into the computer. The editing process for me has become very streamlined, but like I said, a lot of trial and error in finding your own style. So first, I just import the photos and adjust them to the size that I would like it to be, because obviously the photos you're going to take aren't in a 1:1 ratio. Then I just copy and paste my previous settings, which are 2 adjustment layers and my watermark layer. The 2 adjustment layer settings that I have is my brightness at 30 and my contrast at -50. And then my second layer, the brightness is at 50 and the contrast is at -50. Then the final step for me is just moving my watermark to a spot that looks nice, usually next to the journal. And since I batch take my photos, I apply all the effects to each one. Then I click between each one to make sure that they all look similar with the editing, before then exporting all of my photos to my phone. I use an app called Feed Preview, and essentially you just type in your username and it will load what your feed looks like. Then you're able to add images and drag them where you want them to be. Now, it was important for me to find an app that didn't require permission in your Instagram. I didn't want any apps to have access to my Instagram. So with feed preview, all you have to do is just type in your username, like I said. This is a great way to make sure that all your photos look cohesive and that they all go together. The most important takeaway from this video is how much trial and error really went into this. Remember, this was over a year, and I was by no means a natural at taking and editing photos. I knew basically nothing about Photoshop, and I had to learn along the way. And all of my experimentation was done in Instagram. I was posting to the public for everyone to view, and then I gradually improved to find a style I liked. For you, if you're not confident enough in how you edit your pictures, you can totally just take the pictures and practice editing them and then upload them just to the feed preview app and not Instagram itself until you find a style you like. But remember, you have to find what works for you, and I hope at least a few of these tips were helpful. I also have a video on how to film bullet journal videos as well as some tips and tricks if you're interested in that. But that's gonna be it for this one, and I'll hopefully see you in the next. Toodles!